Hello and welcome to another episode of Lids Off. It's been a minute, but I'm back. I've got a new guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, lovely?
Thank you very much. I'm Lucy Cooke. I'm former Manchester Titans. Position, it's ever changing, I won't lie. I think I started off as a running back, went to D-end, probably the smallest D-end you'll ever see.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. But hey, I was fast.
Yeah, you were.
So, you know. And then I'm not going to tell you what position I'm going to be next season. I'll just let people figure it out.
Oh, the mystery. Okay.
It's different though. And yeah, I suppose my NFL team is Pets. Sorry, everyone who's a hater, but we move.
And your pronouns are
She, her.
excellent. So, first and foremost, thank you for coming on the podcast. So, just like we start every other episode, Lucy, how did football find you?
Football found me, weirdly enough, on a Facebook group that I joined for. You know those Facebook groups in the area that you live, and it's basically just middle-aged people who are just like really like having a go at each other for X, Y, and Z. And it's just you're there for the drama because it's funny. But I actually saw a post about a rookie day at Manchester Titans. I'd never thought about playing American football before. I've always played rugby. I've always played a sport. But contact sport wise, it was always rugby. And if I'm being completely honest, I was mega depressed. Struggling to kind of stick to a hobby because I was so depressed. And I just thought, you know what, what's the worst that can happen? I went to one of the rookie days, absolutely loved it. Kenya, big up Kenya Peters, took me under her wing and was lovely. I made loads of friends instantly and I caught the bug, like 100%. I became obsessed. Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that even when you were at your lowest, you decided to do something really fucking brave? Because that's huge.
I guess. I think I've always been somebody who's like, if that seems scary, you should probably do it. Doesn't necessarily help me all the time, but some of the time it's great.
Well, shit, there's nothing scarier than playing nines. So, how was your football career? Because 3 years ago, your rookie year would have been the year that you guys won everything at sevens, wasn't it?
Pretty much won everything. The only thing we didn't win was against Teesside.
You had an insanely large team.
Yeah,
like Kenya did
for
the
a sevens
fucking
team,
most.
It was hefty.
Yeah.
Kenya was an insane recruitment manager. She got so many of us. We had an insane team. And it wasn't just necessarily about like high skilled players. You know, you had big names like Liz Micah. Oh my god, best running back to ever exist, and now linebacker. You know, you've got the likes of Kenya. You've got your big hitters that aren't necessarily on the team anymore because they kind of retired or moved away to flag and stuff like that. You know, but we had a solid team. I mean, Sarah, like, is there
Love
a better
you, Sarah. You're incredible. You're incredible.
Fully, much love. But you know, we had amazing players, and that's me just naming a few off the top of my head, of course. And I'm there as a rookie, like, oh my god, is this a standard that I need to get to? How am I going to do this? But no, it was great. We got our little medal. Yeah, we had an amazing season. And then, obviously, the season after, we had a mass exodus. So it was definitely a challenge. Being so new to the sport and seeing such like a huge change with so many people leaving a team and then rebuilding a team and being part of, you know, I think it was my second year. It was my second year. I was team manager and Liz was head of women's, and we basically had to recruit near enough a whole new team. We had to do the same again this year. You know, so it's been an uphill journey since my first year.
What do you think has been like the main or were the common causes for people like leaving the team or leaving the sport? Because, you know, Chaos had the same experience where they won the league
Yeah.
and now they're an associate again. Like, what do you think is kind of causing that mass migration? Is it
Yeah.
flag? Is it?
Um, I don't think it is flag. I think there's a crossover with flag definitely last season and this season with when training or the end of games stop, sorry, and flag starts. Like there's not enough time for people who want to play both sports, like
Mm.
100%. Otherwise you're just doing football all year round. And that's great for someone who's hyperfixated,
Mhm.
and doesn't want a day off. Um but for others who, need that downtime in between, because it is a switching mentality going from contact to flag and then from
Yep.
flag back to contact. And you see it in players when they've played flag and they're coming back to contact, just takes so much time to get back into the flow of, I've got to actually hit that person rather than pull something.
Yeah.
I can't run at them. But wait, I can. So I think that it's a factor, but it's a small factor. I think for me, there's just not, well, my thoughts anyway, there's just not the infrastructure there. And I think with a lot of clubs, there's such a huge focus on the adults team rather than necessarily the women's team. And then for clubs that are purely a women's team, do they have the right support? Are they equipped? Probably not. Like we're all volunteers.
Mhm.
And it's quite draining for, the people who are on committees or subcommittees, and you're just doing the best that you can.
Yeah.
Um, and there's either not enough volunteers or, there's certain clashes. And ultimately, it's not that deep. We're not in A&E. Nobody's going to die. Um, let's just be a bit more supportive of each other and then we'll
Mhm.
get somewhere. Whereas I think because people see how certain decisions, certain things that play out, they're a bit nervous to get more involved,
Yep.
or they've not got as much confidence in themselves to get involved. Um, and some people they're only in the sport for like a year or 2 years, so they
Yep.
don't feel ready to take that step. Not everyone is completely as unhinged as me, and is like, yeah, okay, cool, 1 year, no worries, team manager, sure. No, so it's I do think a bit is a confidence issue as well as overall infrastructure and just not enough people in the sport.
No, I completely agree with that one. I've had this conversation many, many a time of I think the main cause of the stagnation of the game for women's is this thinking that the same model for the adults is going to work for a solely women's league, and I think it's just killing us. And it needs to be
Yeah.
more adaptive and a bit more holistic
Yeah.
to sport, which is, when you're trying to train people to kill each other by running at them head first is a bit, I can understand why people struggle with that, but
Yeah.
women engage with sport in a very, very different way for
Yeah.
very different reasons, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration 100%.
Yeah.
So, your journey through Titans, so you did your first year, massive, you caught the bug, then you
Yeah.
decided you wanted to be team manager. Where did that kind of push come from? Like, have you always been someone that just wants to, like, are you the organizer in the friendship group?
Yeah. um, I'm a bit I'm a bit neurotic. And I think this is where the autism comes in handy, right? So I get hyper fixated on things and I'm like, oh, okay, I can fix this. There's a problem, I can fix it. And because I'm passionate and I care about things a lot and I get really invested, I don't mind taking extra things on. I've always been someone like at work. I've always worked longer hours just to get stuff done or to do a good job. And I am such a perfectionist to a fault. And obviously well, when nothing in life you can get perfect. You
Mm,
can come close, but you can never get it perfect.
mhm,
And I think with this sport, you definitely can't get close to perfect. Not yet. It's not set up that way. Um,
mhm,
and I think with certain infrastructures, nothing's set up to succeed fully. At the minute, I think it's definitely making progress, but it's not there.
yeah,
So if I see an issue, I want to fix it. And I think we had our head of women's at the time step down, and nobody wanted to go for it. And me and Liz being completely inseparable, were like, okay, we can tackle this, we can handle this. And my experience within management and owning a business, and Liz's insane football knowledge, and the fact that she is also a bit like me, gets hyper fixated. We were both like, this is going to succeed. Um, and I think, yes, we didn't win loads of games, but it was our first year at Nines. It was a huge change, a change with some of the coaching staff, and a huge influx of brand new players, and not being able
Mm.
to rely on a lot of vets, um, which we had even less this year, and a completely whole new coaching staff. It was kind of like, well, if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it, and we want the team to go on. We want the team to succeed. Yeah, we just did it.
What have been your highlights of being team manager?
I won't lie, it was chaos. It was carnage.
Mm.
Neither of us really having that much of a handover or knowing what we were doing. We
Mhm.
just kind of went in at the deep end. I'd say a definite highlight, actually, when I think about it, was getting the women's team's first sponsor.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
a gold
money in the
rush.
bank.
Yeah,
Money in the bank for the team. It meant that we could reduce the girls' subs. It was huge.
yeah,
And it massively helped us. Otherwise, our subs were going to be extortionate for everything that we had to pay out, and coaches, um, for all the travel and stuff. So that was definitely a highlight. And I suppose the fact that we did manage to recruit nearly 30 players brand new. So we did all right. We did
yeah. Of
do all
course you
right.
did. Talking about the coaches, though, I think it's quite to get a whole separate adults team involved and invested in training women's is a feat in itself.
Yeah,
So I just want to take a minute just to really appreciate the Rosendale boys. I love them
100%.
so much. They've healed my faith in men and in humans. They're just incredible people. So where did that connection come from?
Yeah, so that was this year. So Aaron Bowcott, so our head coach that we had this year, I said to him, look, we've not got a lot of coaches that want to get involved at all. We've maybe got one or two from last year or previous seasons. And we sat down, we got a plan together. The moment he got Dan, from Rossendale, on board, the rest just kind of slid into place. And I think because Aaron's also head coach over at Storm, a lot of the guys coach over at Storm as well, so there was a connection there. Um, and yeah, I didn't know any of them. But from the moment I first met them, I was like, wow, these are nice boys. Like,
Yeah.
and they're really patient. And I think this is where, and I think it's also, there's not enough female coaches in the game,
Completely agree.
or coaches that understand how the female body works and can train and can move, because it is
Mhm.
completely different. Completely different center of gravity for one. Um,
Mhm.
and they none of them came in being like, we're experts in the female anatomy, or how your body moves or how your body works. This is what we know. Let's adapt it for you as we're going as well. And I've never experienced that before. In any sport, to be completely
Yeah.
honest. Um, and in previous years we had Bo. She was playing as well as being a coach, and she got it. She really got it, and she was amazing. Like, hats off, big up to Bo, an amazing coach and amazing player. Um, but other than that, we never really got that from like the male coaches. So when the Rosendale guys came in, and they were instantly like that, they adjusted different drills and different movements to suit everybody's individual body, not just because 95% of the team were women. It's adjusting to each individual, which I thought was huge. Like I said, I've never experienced it before. So I really rate them. I absolutely love them all. I
Yeah.
think they're great coaches as well as great people. I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Uh, and we did have Tom Worrell and BK from the Titans adults team. It was BK's second year coaching us. I think he's a great coach as well. Um, Tom Worrell, it was his first year coaching. Um, Hands down, the best all-line coach ever. An amazing guy, like 100%, one of the loveliest guys ever. So I think this year our coaching staff as a whole was brilliant, and
Yeah.
it was, I think, was very healing for the team.
Which is quite impressive, and I think something that really needs to be reflected upon, I guess, because on one hand, you've got this really nurturing and compassioning coaching approach, but then you had a rough season.
Yeah,
Like, it was a rough season on multiple fronts, not just like football games, but there was also politics around it and other stuff as well. So when it came to the end of the season, where did that kind of leave you? Because that was rough.
yeah. Um, I think we all felt it, players, coaches, and committee alike. In games, like being completely transparent, our offense wasn't clicking. Did we adjust for it? Probably not in the way that we should have done, and not as quickly as we should have done. Our defense was amazing. First game wasn't that great,
Mm,
but I think it was that adjustment because a lot of our players play flag, so it was moving into, okay, we're playing contact now.
yeah,
Hindsight, always get a friendly in first. But now everybody knows that, to kind of adjust that mindset. But then our defense after that, like the Birmingham game that we had was, yeah, we didn't win. I mean, we didn't win a single game. But our game against Birmingham, our defense was insane. Like you could see them having to completely adjust their playbook, and hats off to Birmingham and their coaching staff. I think they're amazing. I think every team in the league is absolutely amazing, to be completely honest. Um, but to see how a team like Birmingham had to adjust to our defense, it was a good feeling. Yes, we didn't get the win, but we were making progress.
yeah,
And I think for players, like it was a struggle to kind of keep going. But I think it was testament to everyone's attitude and I suppose the ethos that we built as a team of we go out there and we play our best game. What that looks like, we'll deal with that at the end of it and we'll
yeah.
adjust. But everyone kept their heads up. Not one person dipped their head and was like, I'm not going back on that field. I can't do it. Nobody was like that. It was, we just keep going. No key lessons to be learned. We had a brand new coaching staff,
Yeah.
a hell of a lot of rookies again. Our longest serving vets. I mean, if we took Sarah out of the occasion, our longest serving vet for Titans was what, 2, 3 years,
Yeah.
So it was essentially a baby team and a baby coaching staff. 'Cause it's all brand new. We're all new to each other, really, and putting them in a nines league.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the fact that we were able to field the team every game, and injuries and stuff like that happened, but we still had enough because we'd done such a good job of recruitment. I think that was a testament to a lot of the women's committee, and it was a real team effort with it. Could things have gone better? Could we have done things better? 100%. You're never going to look back and think, oh yeah, I did everything perfect. I think the biggest thing that kind of affected the team was definitely the politics, and the kind of, and I'll be transparent, the abuse on social media for
Yeah.
a team that ultimately we were following what we were told. Um, and if another team is being told something else, they're being told something else. That there's nothing I can do about that. It's a shame. Like it is a genuine shame. And I don't hold any grudges against anyone. I don't hold any ill will towards anyone. We turned around and said, like, we don't think these essentially, we said we don't think we deserve to be in any kind of playoffs or anything like that. This was before everything happened of things getting
Mm,
overturned. So we hold no bad blood because we said we've not won a game, we've not scored a point. That to us, that would kind of make a mockery of the league.
mhm.
Um, and we were all on the same boat with that. Um, so I think because we did try and not necessarily stay quiet purposefully, but we wanted to respect everybody involved. So we just kind of let everyone feel how they felt about it because everyone's feelings are valid about it. I can't tell somebody else how to feel or, other stuff that's going on. It just is what it is. It's a shame. We missed out on 2 games. Other teams missed out on games because of stuff going on. Unfortunately, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, Changes should be made in future. Hopefully there will be. And with more teams joining the leagues, I mean, it's only going to be good things from here. Hopefully.
So before we kind of get on to what you've teased there, I guess as someone that has hyperfixated and does find love and joy in football,
Yeah.
how was that for you? Like the end of last season, where were you at with that?
It was absolutely crushing. I felt that I'd let the girls down and I'd let the team down. And I will always look over things that I've done or could have done better or, could have adjusted, could have communicated better, all kinds of things like that. Um, yeah, and I think not to kind of put a pity party out there at all. And that's not what I want at all. But, that was all happening at the same time that I was dealing with a lot of cancer stuff.
Mm.
So it was just a lot all at once. And because football was always my safe space, um, I definitely took like a bit of a nosedive. Um, but we're here and we're clear. So everything is all
There we
good.
are.
Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a rough time. I felt like I had this community within football,
Yeah.
and it's not just. I think that's the good thing about football is it's not just your own team. You get to
Mhm.
know other teams, you get to know other people in teams, and you root for each other. You end up once the game's done, you go and hug the people that you know, and you're like, you had a really good game, regardless whether you won or lost against them. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter, and I think that's the good thing about it. But yeah, like so I felt like my community had gone, other than obviously my own players. But yeah, like having that community gone and then you're dealing with a lot of crap in your personal life, as well as everything that was like being said in my DMs on Instagram. It was just a lot all at once.
Yeah.
And like appreciate those people didn't know that that was happening because I told like maybe 2 or 3 people.
Mm.
Um but I suppose it was just kind of a reminder for me as well. You never know what somebody else is going through. And I think that's why I then started to pull back a bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I definitely fell out of love with football and the whole
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
But the new stuff that's happening has got me excited about stuff again and has got me like really passionate about things again. So yeah, I was going to stop coaching because I coach at the uni, but then I'm coaching again. So all is well again.
The reason I asked that, and for people kind of listening or watching, is not because I wanted to kind of do the X Factor, kind of play the violins moment, because
Yeah,
that's, oh, first of all, most importantly, I wanted to say thank you for sharing that, because that's really, really deep and really raw. But most importantly, like you said, like football is a lot of things to a lot of people, and it's more than just
yeah,
a sport for quite a lot of people. And for you, you were in a really dark space, and football gave you this break and this
yeah,
self of worth, and it was a community. And when seasons go to shit and communities and football, like sport teams dwindle, it affects more than just they're an associate now, or these players don't play anymore. Like it's bigger
yeah,
than that.
100%.
And I think what you're experiencing at the same time as going through a health scare is fucking terrifying. So for you to kind of persevere through that is one, really, really fucking brave. And I'm really proud of you for that. And not only for that, but also creating something is just mind blowing. So, with that being said, what is your new news that actually has you smiling?
Yeah. So there will be a new team joining the NWFL.
Whip whip.
Associate year first, obviously. But I'm really confident. Like we'll have the numbers. We've pretty much got the numbers now, and we've not even fully started. So buzzing. Yeah, and it is Rossendale Raptors. Woo!
The league needed more dinosaurs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, on
There wasn't
it.
enough dinosaurs. What the hell?
So, uh, there's gonna be loads of questions.
Yeah.
So, how did you first and foremost was the Rosendale because of the associated coaching? Like, where did you decide on that?
Yeah. So me and a couple of the girls basically were unhappy about a few things. We were like, we're traveling all this way. There's not a lot of teams.
Mm,
Um, in the league anyway. There's not a lot of teams. I know obviously you've got Cheshire Bears. But then it's Manchester United. It's the only two teams that are around here. And you're traveling for both, and it's like, right, okay, what if there was a different team? What if there was more teams? And do you know what? Initially, we thought about Salford Sirens, and we were like, that could work. And we were looking at all kinds of different things, and it was me and Tom, who's the head coach at Tyrant, so Uni in Manchester. And we were originally playing around with the idea, and then it kind of grew bigger in terms of who wanted to create a new team. And we were looking at loads of different options, looking into things, and then we had our season with Titans. So this was in the back of our minds the whole time. It didn't take from our focus at all, of course, but it's something that was a bit of a passion project, I suppose. Um, and then yeah, I don't know how it came about, but me and Dan were speaking about kind of Rosendale, and they're gonna finally get out of associate this year, and which they have. So big up the boys.
mhm,
Um, and yeah, he was talking about his plans for the club, and being like, we'd love to have a women's team. We'd love to have a youth team down the line. Not to give too many spoilers, sorry. And flag teams, and he wants Rosendale to be a place for football excellence down the line. And I was like, oh my god, that's what I want for our team. To ultimately build something that is for everybody. As much as you can, with certain rules. Um, we won't touch on that. But yeah, and like with like-minded people, and then we started chatting about stuff, and like how he would do it, and like how we would do it for our team. And then I don't know what it was. We were sat there, and I was like, "What if I set up the team, but it was part of Rosendale?" And it was like a light bulb moment, and we're like, "Wow, we're both idiots that we've not thought about this sooner." Like we're both helping each other, like giving each other ideas on stuff, and like giving recommendations when actually we both want the same thing. So let's team up. So we're absolute idiots, but we got there in the end. Um, so yeah, and then obviously we spoke with Baffa about stuff. They were really helpful. Jan from Baffa, like she's absolutely great. She'd been super helpful. And then yeah, like originally when we decided that we were going to be part of Rosendale, we were like, oh, we were talking through it, and Dan was like, oh, I'm thinking, like, if you see you've got your women's team that's, Rosendale Doors, and then, you've got your youth team, which is like Fawns, because it's sticking with the books theme.
mm,
And we were like, okay, yeah, cool, let's do that. And then the more I thought about it, um, and we've got like our little group chat with everyone who's like involved in creating the team. And we just feel like it doesn't really fit. Like the dolls part doesn't really fit with kind of like our mission, what we're wanting to achieve. And we're all big believers of be the change you want to see. Are we sticking with the same old and not really being what we want to be, which is inclusive? Because for like you say dolls, it's female day. That's shutting us off. That's putting us in a box. Whereas, raptors, one, it's dinos, so cool.
End of sentence. That's it.
Yeah, it's cool. That's it. But two, like it's not gender specific. If
Mhm.
we have ideally, we do want people on the team that if you're a woman, cool. If you're non-binary, cool. If you're a trans man, cool. Everyone's welcome. Like there's no kind of anyone feeling like they don't belong. And that's the biggest thing for me. Football gave me a place and somewhere to belong. I want to give that to other people. Yes, I've seen things along the way that, other people have done or said that hasn't necessarily made me feel that way. And that's not a team specific. That's, in different things. So You know, if I'm wanting to create that safe space for people, even something, and people might think, oh, this dumb, it's just a name. But even something as simple as that, that sets the precedent.
No, it definitely does.
Whereas
100%.
Raptors, gender neutral, and it's cool. So we landed on Raptors.
10-10, no notes.
Yeah.
So what is your vision going forward? Like, what are the next steps?
So smash our associate year, absolutely out of the park. We're going to be training all year round, so we're always ready. And I think that was a big thing, that whether I misheard it, and if I'm wrong, apologies, but I'm pretty sure Teesside train all year round, or near enough all year round. And I'm like, well, yeah, that makes the most sense. You know, so my view is, yeah, you have a bit of time off over Christmas, you know, have a bit of a break if you want. But but then it's right, okay, let's go, you know, and it's, you know, we focus on S&C together, we focus on building together. It's very much we are a family and we want each other to succeed. So that's kind of like the base of it. We're going to train all year round. We're going to be absolutely hench. We're going to be the best football players ever to exist. Obviously, which will take like 2 weeks. But like my long-term goal is we kind of set the precedent for the league of, well, no, every team should be sponsored. Every team should have a big sponsor, should have a backing. So then, you know, subs go from, you know, like 300 quid to maybe 100, 150. And then on top of that, you know, you get the opportunity that your club are pushing for player sponsorship as well. You know, we've not started yet. We've not even really got that much of an Instagram following or presence. I've just posted a few teasers, you know how it is. And we've already got like a massive sponsor that's reduced subs, which we'll announce in time. I'm not going to give any spoilers.
Oh, teaser.
Yeah, just drop that there. But yeah, we've already got a massive sponsor. We've got 3 more in the works, and we're not even fully started. Like, we have a team that focuses purely on sponsorship and funding. There's not many people or teams or clubs that have a dedicated person. It's just kind of as and when, and like they'll look at it. Whereas no, if we have somebody who's on it all the time, that's how we build it. You know, and it will be a case of once it works and I've got it systemized, that's where I'll then share that with other clubs. I want it to be like a how-to and a guide of, right, okay, this is an easy way to get sponsorship or funding, and these are the details of everything that you can go for. It'll be different for different counties and stuff like that, and different councils. But this is how we did it. But I'm not going to be gatekeeping any information. I want everyone to succeed. And I think that's the big difference of, it's kind of like, from my experience anyway, we keep everything within. We just focus on ourselves. And that's great. You want to get yourself to a certain point. My view is more about the actual league and the sport. And it's a case of, yeah, okay, some adult contact teams, yeah, they have sponsors and all this. Other teams don't. And there's not a huge focus on it because it's, we'll just kind of rely on the adults team and then subs will make it up. So it's fine. But it's, let's be self-sufficient. Let's get ourselves to the point where we don't have to charge subs eventually, you know, and there's more people in the sport. There's more teams in the sport. And eventually we're all playing 11s. Like, there's no reason that couldn't happen in a few years. You have to have the right infrastructure. We have to support each other. And I'm not saying, oh God, I'm going to bring out a guide and it's going to fix everything for everybody because I know everything. Absolutely not. This is where we're trialing it to be like, does it work? So far it's working. You know, and then it's right, okay, these are all the resources that I can share with everybody. And if anybody needs any help, then we're here to help as well. It's not just it's definitely not a selfish mindset at Rossendale, full stop. And I think that's a big thing as well. So yeah, and it may seem, you know, a bit pie in the sky and all that jazz, but like, my view is, yeah, we build this team, but my goal is based on where we're pushing the sport. How do we further the sport? How do we get more coverage? How do we get more money in the sport? How do we get to the point that people are playing for GB because they've been selected, but they're not having to pay?
Amen.
Like, because there's sponsorship, there's more funding, there's more eyes on it, you know, to represent your country. And this is no shade towards anyone, but to represent your country, you're having to pay. Doesn't seem quite right. And I know that we don't have stuff in place and then there's not the funding there, but it's how do we get there so it's easy?
Yeah. Everyone,
and it can't be fixed overnight.
Yeah, if you've earned the right to be chosen for the squad, you shouldn't have to pay. That's my opinion as well. I
Yeah,
agree with that one.
yeah.
So,
But it's how do we get to that point? That's where
yeah,
like my mind goes. And I get that I'm thinking a few years in advance. But if we don't think ahead to that, as teams, we don't think about how we set our players up and our future players up in the best position, then we've kind of failed them already.
yeah. So, kind of touching on that a little bit, but like, how do you gauge the success of a kind of a successful football team for you? So, if we were to like look back in a couple of years or even in a year at the Raptors and the progress, what would be the qualities or the achievements that would make you think I've got a good football team?
Yeah. Retention rates.
Hmm.
So are people staying with the club? Are people happy? Do we have, and it may sound daft, but do we have people volunteering for, certain aspects of that club? Because you volunteer if you're passionate about it. Um, and you're passionate about that club because you don't mind spending that extra time. Um, as well as retained players, it's are we growing still? And the brass tacks of it, are we making money? Are we making a profit to then reinvest into the team? It might sound strange, but winning games doesn't enter it into my mind right now.
Okay.
And I know that might be like a bit rogue, and like some people may say, well, that's because you're used to not winning games, which fair fucks.
I mean, I
But for
think
me,
I've been on two. I think the teams I've played for 5 years. I think we've won like 3 games. So,
yeah. But for me, it's are people happy? Are people staying? Are more people joining the sport? Are we progressing? And by progressing, it's are we growing? Are we getting more people? Are we making the money to keep growing, to keep the club going? Is it profitable, but are we also giving back to the community? So, like, my
yeah,
view is, yeah, we get these sponsorships and, we get this longer term picture, but a big part for me is we're going to every season have 3 partnerships. And that's essentially like different businesses or different charities. Um, if it's a charity, we'll do loads of different funding. Like, I love me a marathon walk and all that. Don't know why I do it to us all the time, but anyway, um, it's raising money for charities, but it's the partnership part is, maybe we'll have their logo on our helmets, and we'll speak about them with our posts, and we'll make sure they're tagged in all the posts, and like will be affiliated. But like the 3 core is it a local business that we believe in? And aligns with us. Like the core thing is that they align with our values, but a local business that we can promote and, we can be shouting about them. And, it might be that they only get one customer from us shouting about them, but it's one extra customer. And then is it like the second one would be an organization that focuses on some kind of inclusivity. So for us this year, that one's already locked in. That's Little Magic Train. So they do a lot. For basically early years education. And it's all about inclusivity. It's your send stuff and stuff like that. But
nice.
it's to a whole new level. And whereas, and this is where I get passionate, so just bear with me. So it's having children engaged and learning, and it's not just a one size fits all. As someone
Mm.
who's autistic and got a lot of other kind of stuff going on, your average education wasn't built for somebody like me. And they're about making it for everybody. But it's not just like a case of all these people who are out here like charging so much money for all this stuff. Little Magic Train is all about it's £1.50 a year for a kid that a school has to pay, which is
Oh my god.
insane because people have to pay thousands, schools have to pay tens of thousands. And she's just like, £1.50 per child. I make it accessible for everybody. No child should go without. So I'm all about that. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Which we'll be posting more about them and doing like different videos and stuff to explain what they do. Because I think every school should have them on board because I mean, why not? It doesn't make sense not to.
Yeah.
Um, but that's a story for another day. And then the other one is a charity that we can support. So you've got something local, you've got a charity, and you've got something that's focusing on inclusivity, which for me is what the team is going to be based around anyway. It fits with our values and what we're saying that we want. So why wouldn't we embody that with different partnerships and see what we can do for them?
So, what are you excited for? for the next kind of 6 months? You personally, as a human, and not just as the new head of Raptors or
Um, Getting back on the field with my friends.
perfect answer.
Yeah, like there's there's making new friends and there's getting more people involved and having a good time. But ultimately, I'm like a dog. Just let me loose, get me on the field running around like an absolute idiot, my hair flapping all over the face. Um, catching a ball, throwing a ball, whatever, kicking it, just having a good time with mates, and having a laugh and having a routine again. Off
Yeah,
season and no routine is no good.
it's a nightmare, innit?
Yeah, awful.
So, in terms of rookie days and
Yeah,
exciting announcements, like what's next for
yeah.
Raptors?
So rookie days, the dates are in the diary. So we've got the 1st of November, the 8th of November, and the 15th of November. So we've got 3 rookie days. There'll be like 10 till 12. Locations to be confirmed. My view is that we have it at 3 different locations within like I suppose the catchment, just to try and pull more people in and like try different stuff. Try different teams or rugby teams or whatever. To get more involved and shout about the sport a bit more in different
Absolutely.
locations. I just think it's a tactic that Dan had a chat with me and mentioned, and I thought, you know what, absolute genius. So location to be confirmed, but it'll all be on our Instagram, Rossendale Raptors, if anyone wants to know. Um, and then after that, training will start. So 22nd of November will be our first proper training session. Um, and then we'll take a break after the 13th of December, come back on the 10th of January, and then we'll be training all year round. Um, Games, watch this space.
Nice, because I know for Rosendale they had to have, well, for most associate teams, you have to have so many games, don't you, to prove that you can play. Have you been given a set number of games you have to play, or is it just
Yeah.
organised and
So with NWFL, it's literally one home game, one away game.
cool?
Yeah. We want more. Because if we can create our own season, then I just think more people will get the most out of it. Um, but obviously from things I know of other associate teams, there's going to be a lot of us, so it would make sense for us to all play each other, and I think everyone would be up for that. Um,
Associates League, yeah!
yeah, pretty
Yeah!
much. There's no reason that we couldn't do, a tournament or something. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work, and don't quote me on it, but there'll be a lot of work that goes into it to get it to happen. But with how many teams there's going to be that all need one home game and one away game, we could literally do tournaments, and we're all getting multiple games.
Well, I don't know about you, but I know this human that's neurologically spicy and has gone on the record saying that if she sees a problem, she likes to fix it. So I don't know if you know her. Name's Lucy Cooke by any chance.
What
Do
the
you
hell?
know
Who is that?
her? But
Yeah,
yeah, this is
don't quote me,
exciting.
but we'll see. I'll try and make it happen.
No, the league needs more people. The sport needs more people just trying. It's very
Yeah,
much setting its ways, and I think it needs a new injection of life and excitement and enthusiasm to keep it alive for sure.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So, oh fuck yeah, absolutely. And plus, more teams is more chaos and more dinosaurs, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that being said, have you got any leaving sentiments for your adoring fans?
I don't know if I've got fans or haters, so I don't know. Don't hate me, just love me. No, it would definitely be. Look, some people will think, a team so close to other teams would be about taking away. None of this is about taking from other teams. It's about adding to the sport. If there are more teams, there's more people actively recruiting and pulling people from rugby clubs mainly. Um,
Mm.
and we have great success with hockey clubs as well because those people are unhinged. Um, it's about getting more people into the sport. It's not about taking away and moving chess pieces around. That's not what we're about. it's about getting more people in. Like, we all love this sport. We all want it to grow. It only grows if we have more teams and more players.
Amen. My leaving sentiment is, mate, I've got nothing but respect for you.
Cheers, mate.
You coming on and being really honest and really vulnerable about what your journey through sport, and the amount of people I've seen in my time in football become jaded and sad and leave the sport, but instead at a challenging time you lent in and doubled down, and that's really fucking brave and really bold of you. So you've got nothing but respect from me, seriously. So thank you to adding even more to the women's game. You're a
God, you're
legend.
gonna make me blush. Chill out.
Good.
What the
Oh
hell?
yeah, you're fucking. You smell. I don't fucking know.
I'm
Uh,
minging me. No, but
fucking
I appreciate it.
paracetamol. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Uh, well, that just got really awkward really quickly. So yeah, with that being said, I've been Bo Snow.
You're gonna make me do it.
You've been Lucy Cooke,
I have been a crazy lady, also known as Lucy Cooke.
and this has been Lids Off. Bye.
Bye.